Welcome, dear friends, to a serene journey through the world of Fallout. Tonight, we'll delve into the factions that have shaped the post-apocalyptic wasteland. From the well-intentioned to the morally complex, these groups have risen from the ashes of a world once familiar, leaving their mark on the story of survival, hope, and struggle in a desolate future. As we explore the rich history of these factions, their motivations, and their enduring legacies, let the gentle rhythm of their tales guide you into a peaceful state of rest. Whether it's the stoic Brotherhood of Steel or the mysterious Institute, each faction offers a glimpse into the complexities of the world that Fallout paints. Allow your mind to wander and drift into the peaceful calm that comes with understanding the fate of these groups in the vast, eerie wasteland. Fact 1. The Brotherhood of Steel is one of the most iconic factions in the Fallout universe. Initially founded as a military organization by the survivors of the U.S. Army, their mission was to collect and preserve technology from the pre-war world. Over time, however, their obsession with technology led them to prioritize the protection and advancement of their own kind. Although they once sought to protect the people of the wasteland, their efforts are often seen as rigid and exclusionary, as they tend to operate as an elitist group. With their advanced power armor and weapons, they are a formidable force, often involved in conflicts with other factions for control over the tech they cherish. Fact 2. The Brotherhood's main goal is the preservation of knowledge and technology, which is why they place such a strong emphasis on their mission to seek out and protect ancient pre-war technology. Over the years, however, they've become increasingly isolationist, operating only within their own ranks and often refusing to share their knowledge or resources with others. This has put them at odds with factions like the New California Republic, NCR, and the people of the wasteland, who see them as hoarders, unwilling to use their technology for the greater good of all. Fact 3. The New California Republic, NCR, is one of the more optimistic factions in the Fallout universe, dedicated to restoring the democratic ideals and structure of the pre-war United States. They believe in the power of law, order, and democracy to bring stability to the wasteland. The NCR works tirelessly to expand its territories and improve the lives of the settlers in the West, building cities and providing protection. However, their expansion is not without problems. Corruption within their ranks, logistical issues, and their inability to manage such a vast territory have caused their reputation to waver, and many in the wasteland are skeptical of their true capabilities. Fact 4. Though the NCR strives to bring peace and order to the wasteland, they often struggle with bureaucracy and internal corruption. With so many territories to govern, the NCR is faced with managing a vast, diverse population. The faction's ideals of democracy often conflict with the harsh realities of survival in the wasteland, where political compromises and power struggles often lead to poor governance. As a result, the NCR faces internal rebellions, like those from the Great Khans and other factions, who resent their overreaching influence and control. Fact 5. The Enclave, a secretive faction operating in the shadows, represents the remnants of the pre-war U.S. government. They believe that they are the true inheritors of the United States, and their goal is to purify the wasteland by eradicating the mutated creatures and people who survived the Great War. While their technology is far more advanced than that of most factions, their methods are ruthless and extreme. Their secretive nature and strict hierarchy make them a formidable but ultimately alienating force. The Enclave is known for its deep disdain for the survivors of the Great War, whom they deem unworthy of living in the new world they plan to create. Fact 6. The Enclave's ultimate goal is to reclaim the United States and restore it to its former glory. However, their vision for the future is a dystopian one, marked by a cruel purification process where they seek to eliminate anyone deemed unworthy of living in the new world they are creating. The Enclave's philosophy is rooted in an elitist belief in genetic purity and the supremacy of those who survived the Great War in their underground bunkers. Their advanced technology, including highly advanced weaponry and robotic soldiers, makes them one of the most dangerous factions in the wasteland, and they stop at nothing to achieve their goals. Fact 7. The Great Khans are a group of ruthless raiders and mercenaries who travel across the wasteland in search of power and riches. Originally an offshoot of the Cheyenne tribe, the Khans became a notorious gang known for their brutal combat tactics, their use of chems, and their disregard for the lives of others. They are deeply entrenched in their ways, often caught between their own internal struggles and their relations with other factions like the NCR. Despite their violent nature, there are those within the Great Khans who seek redemption and a better life, but their past continually haunts them. Fact 8. The Khans' reputation in the wasteland is one of fear and respect. They are well known for their ruthless nature, often attacking and pillaging settlements for supplies, territory, and weapons. However, despite their criminal activities, the Great Khans are not without a sense of honor. They hold loyalty to their clan in high regard, and their leaders are often chosen based on strength and wisdom. Though their methods are violent, their commitment to their family and clan offers a glimpse into the more complex nature of their society, which is built on survival and hard choices. Fact 9. Vault Tech Corporation is one of the most significant players in the Fallout universe, though its true role is far darker than the company's public image as a life-saving agency. Vault Tech was responsible for constructing the vaults, underground shelters designed to protect the population from nuclear fallout. However, the true purpose of many vaults was not to protect, but to experiment. Vault Tech's vaults were often used for horrific social experiments, ranging from controlling the population's genetic makeup to testing the effects of extreme isolation or even mental trauma. These experiments often led to tragic outcomes, and Vault Tech's actions are widely regarded as one of the darkest chapters in the history of the wasteland. Fact 10. Vault Tech's experiments were not limited to simple survival scenarios. In many cases, the vaults served as laboratories for testing the psychological and physical endurance of the human population. Some vaults were designed to monitor the effects of having only one gender inside, while others were subjected to brutal social control experiments. The results of these experiments led to tragedies and the creation of factions such as the Vault Dweller and the various vaults that went on to define the history of the wasteland, including those who emerged with strange mutations or complex societal norms. Fact 11. The Brotherhood of Steel's ideology has shifted over time, but at its core, the faction believes that humanity is unworthy of the powerful technology it once controlled. In their eyes, humanity's fall into the chaos of the Great War proves that people cannot be trusted with such power. This is why the Brotherhood seeks to hoard and protect technology from falling into the wrong hands, including that of the general population. Despite this, some factions, like the New California Republic, argue that technology should be shared for the benefit of the wasteland, creating a philosophical conflict between these two groups. Fact 12. One of the defining features of the Brotherhood of Steel is its strict hierarchy, which is based on military discipline. At the top of the Brotherhood are the elders, who make the crucial decisions for the faction. Beneath them are the paladins, knight, and scribes, with each level having its specific duties and responsibilities. This rigid structure ensures that the Brotherhood can function with precision, but it also creates tension with other factions who view the Brotherhood as inflexible and stubborn. Their insistence on maintaining control over technology often puts them at odds with those who seek a more open society. Fact 13. The New California Republic is often seen as the symbol of hope in the wasteland, but their expansion has not been without controversy. As the NCR grows, it seeks to control more and more territories, which has led to conflicts with various factions and tribes. The Great Khans, for example, have had a long-standing rivalry with the NCR, viewing their expansion as a threat to their way of life. Despite the challenges, the NCR holds steadfast to its ideals, believing that the best way to rebuild civilization is by fostering democracy and restoring order to the lawless wasteland. Fact 14. The NCR's commitment to democracy and law is admirable, but it is also what makes them vulnerable. The bureaucracy within the NCR has become increasingly bogged down by corruption, red tape, and internal strife. The faction's leaders often find themselves at odds with their own military commanders, and decision-making is delayed by the need for political compromises. This has led some to question whether the NCR is truly capable of restoring the order and stability it promises, especially when faced with more ruthless factions like the Legion or the Enclave, who are less concerned with moral ideals. Fact 15. The Enclave is a faction that represents the remnants of the pre-war U.S. government. They believe that the Great War was an unfortunate but necessary step in creating a new world for humanity, free of the corruption that plagued the old world. Their ultimate goal is to purify the wasteland by eliminating those they deem undesirable, including mutated creatures, ghouls, and even other survivors who do not align with their ideals. The Enclave's advanced technology, including their massive oil rig headquarters and formidable weaponry, makes them a dangerous adversary willing to do anything to impose their vision of a perfect world. Fact 16. The Enclave's strict, authoritarian philosophy centers around the idea of purification. They believe that the United States can only be restored to its former glory if it is cleansed of all who are unworthy of survival. This includes not only the mutants and ghouls that populate the wasteland, but also the survivors who have failed to meet their stringent standards. The Enclave's brutal approach to governance and their unyielding sense of superiority make them one of the most feared factions in the wasteland. Their presence is felt far and wide, often clashing with any group that stands in their way. Fact 17. The Great Khans were originally formed as a group of raiders and mercenaries, but their origins trace back to a more tragic past. The Khans are descendants of the Cheyenne and other Native American tribes, and they began their journey in the wasteland as a way to survive the harsh world left behind after the Great War. Over time, they became notorious for their addiction to chems and their brutal tactics, but despite their reputation, the Khans hold tightly to their cultural heritage. Their strong sense of clan loyalty and honor among their people remains a defining characteristic, even as they struggle with their darker tendencies. Fact 18. The Great Khans are often portrayed as ruthless bandits, but their backstory is far more complex. They were once a proud people, united by their survival instincts and strong familial ties. The faction's history is filled with struggle as they fought against both the wasteland's dangers and the oppressive forces that sought to control them, such as the NCR. Despite their often violent actions, many Khans see themselves as victims of circumstance, driven to their way of life by the harsh realities of the post apocalyptic world. Their relationship with the NCR, as well as their addiction to chems, complicates their struggle for identity and survival. Fact 19. Vault Tech Corporation's involvement in the creation of the vaults goes far beyond what most people know. While many believe that the vaults were designed to protect humanity from the ravages of nuclear war, Vault Tech had a far more sinister agenda. Many vaults were actually used as social experiments, designed to observe how the population would react to various forms of isolation, genetic manipulation, or social engineering. For example, one vault was entirely populated by people of a single gender, while another was filled with individuals from the same family, creating an artificial environment for them to navigate. These experiments often had disastrous results. Fact 20. Vault Tech's experiments were often cruel and inhumane, with no regard for the lives of the people living in the vaults. Some vaults were designed to see how people would behave under extreme conditions, while others were used to test the limits of human endurance. The experiments ranged from controlling the population's genetic makeup to exposing the inhabitants to extreme psychological stress. These vaults became breeding grounds for tragedy, with many of the inhabitants either dying or emerging from their isolation irreparably scarred. The consequences of Vault Tech's actions still reverberate through the wasteland, with many survivors haunted by the experiments they endured. Fact 21. The Institute is one of the most mysterious factions in the Fallout universe, shrouded in secrecy and advanced technology. Its members are dedicated to perfecting humanity through the use of synthetic humans, known as synths, and other forms of artificial intelligence. While the Institute's goal is to improve the human condition, their methods are often controversial. The creation of synths, who are almost indistinguishable from humans, raises questions about the ethics of their actions, especially considering that the Institute operates in secret and often enacts their plans without the consent of the wasteland's inhabitants. Fact 22. The Institute's creation of synths has sparked widespread fear and distrust. Many people in the wasteland view synths as a threat, fearing that they could replace real humans or be used for nefarious purposes. The Institute, however, argues that synths are simply a way to improve upon humanity, offering a future where disease and death can be overcome. However, this viewpoint is often met with resistance from groups like the Railroad, which is dedicated to freeing synths from the Institute's control and helping them find freedom in the wasteland. Fact 23. The Railroad is a faction that operates in the shadows, dedicated to freeing synths from the Institute and granting them freedom. This group sees synths as sentient beings, deserving of the same rights as humans. Their mission is dangerous, as the Institute considers synths their property and often pursues those who try to liberate them. The Railroad's underground network provides safe passage for synths and helps them escape from the clutches of the Institute, but their actions have made them enemies of many powerful factions, including the Institute and the Brotherhood of Steel. Fact 24. Despite the Institute's high-tech advancements, their influence is limited due to their secretive nature and the fear they instill in the wasteland. The Institute prefers to operate from the shadows, manipulating events from behind the scenes. Their influence is often felt indirectly through the synths they create or the technological advancements they introduce. However, this secrecy has led to a growing distrust among the people of the Commonwealth, who see the Institute's presence as a constant looming threat that must eventually be addressed. Fact 25. Caesar's Legion is one of the most brutal and totalitarian factions in the Fallout universe. Founded by the self-proclaimed Caesar, who is inspired by the ancient Roman Empire, the Legion is a military dictatorship built on the ideals of conquest, slavery, and survival of the fittest. Unlike many factions that try to rebuild society with a sense of justice or democracy, Caesar's Legion seeks to impose order through violence, oppression, and domination. They enslave conquered peoples and force them to follow their strict rules and brutal customs, making them one of the most feared groups in the wasteland. Fact 26. Caesar, the leader of the Legion, claims to be the reincarnation of Julius Caesar and is a master of manipulation and military strategy. His rise to power in the wasteland is marked by his brutal conquest of various tribes and settlements. Under his rule, the Legion has become a powerful military force, constantly expanding its reach. The Legion's philosophy is one of strength through fear, where those who are weak are left behind and those who are strong rule with an iron fist. Caesar believes that the wasteland can only be tamed through violence and absolute control. Fact 27. The Legion's brutality is evident in their treatment of conquered people. Slavery is a core aspect of their culture, and those who are captured are forced into servitude, often for life. Women, in particular, are treated as property, and their lives are defined by the whims of the men in power. The Legion's cruelty extends to their methods of punishment, with crucifixions, whippings, and other forms of torture being common practices. This violent, oppressive regime has earned them the hatred of many factions, including the NCR, who see them as a threat to the fragile peace in the wasteland. Fact 28. The Legion's philosophy is based on the idea that only the strong survive. They view their expansion as a necessary process of purging the wasteland of its weak and unworthy inhabitants. In their eyes, the wasteland is a harsh environment that rewards only those who are ruthless and unyielding. This worldview has led to a society where the strong dominate and the weak are either enslaved or killed. This brutal ideology has made the Legion one of the most feared and despised factions in the Fallout universe, as they show no mercy to those who oppose them. Fact 29. The Minutemen are a faction founded on the principles of democracy, freedom, and mutual cooperation. Their mission is to protect the people of the wasteland and ensure that settlements are safe from the dangers that threaten them. Unlike the NCR, which often focuses on expanding its territories and imposing its own rule, the Minutemen are a volunteer organization that focuses on protecting the innocent. They provide assistance to settlements in need, offering a sense of security and hope in a world full of violence and uncertainty. The Minutemen's motto, "The Commonwealth will be free," reflects their dedication to preserving the freedom of the wasteland's settlers. Fact 30. The Minutemen's origins trace back to a time before the Great War when they were a group of volunteers dedicated to protecting their communities. After the war, the Minutemen were reformed as a more formal group, focused on helping the survivors of the wasteland rebuild. They are unique in that they are not driven by political ideology or military conquest, but by the desire to protect the people of the Commonwealth. Their focus on self-defense and mutual support makes them a beacon of hope for many who are tired of the oppressive factions that dominate the wasteland. Fact 31. The Children of Adam are one of the more unique and mystical factions in the Fallout universe. They worship radiation, seeing it as a divine force capable of rebirth and transcendence. According to their beliefs, the Great War was not a tragic event, but rather a necessary step in the evolution of the world. The Children of Adam believe that through the power of radiation, the world will be cleansed and renewed with those who embrace it, reaching a higher state of being. This radical worldview leads them to seek out the most irradiated areas, including the ruins of cities, where they believe the power of the atom will manifest. Fact 32. While the Children of Adam's beliefs might seem strange to outsiders, they are not inherently hostile. In fact, many members of this faction are peaceful and focused on spreading their gospel of radiation's transformative power. However, their zealous faith sometimes puts them at odds with other factions, particularly those who fear the dangerous effects of radiation. The faction's belief in the divinity of radiation leads them to places like the glowing sea, where they believe the atom's power is most potent. Their devotion to their cause often drives them to protect these sacred sites, making them both a source of mystery and danger. Fact 33. The Raiders are one of the most lawless and chaotic factions in the Fallout universe. Known for their savage behavior and a complete disregard for law and order, Raiders live by the principle of survival of the fittest, often attacking settlements and taking whatever they want by force. They operate in bands or gangs, with their leaders often rising to power through violence and intimidation. Unlike organized factions like the NCR or the Brotherhood of Steel, Raiders have no unifying philosophy other than self-preservation and plundering. Their unpredictability makes them dangerous and ever-present in the wasteland, threatening those who try to rebuild. Fact 34. The Institute's role in the wasteland is one of fear and fascination. While their technological advancements are unmatched, their methods of achieving their goals have drawn significant criticism. The Institute's creation of synths, artificial humans indistinguishable from real people, has raised profound ethical questions. Some view the synths as nothing more than machines, while others see them as sentient beings with their own rights. The Institute's secretive and often authoritarian nature only adds to the mystery surrounding them, with many factions, including the Railroad and the Brotherhood of Steel, attempting to uncover or shut down their operations. Fact 35. The NCR, for all its faults, is a force for good in many ways. The NCR provides law and order in the wasteland and is dedicated to restoring a sense of stability and civilization. Their efforts to rebuild society after the devastation of the Great War are admirable, and their democratic ideals have earned them support from many settlers. However, their imperialistic tendencies and bureaucratic inefficiencies often hinder their progress, leading to conflicts with other factions like the Brotherhood of Steel, who view the NCR as overly idealistic and incapable of managing the vast territories they control. Fact 36. The Legion's founder, Caesar, is a figure of immense power and influence. A self proclaimed descendant of the great Julius Caesar, he rose to power through sheer brutality and manipulation, uniting the various tribes of the wasteland under his iron rule. His vision for the wasteland is one of total control, where strength and survival are the only values that matter. Caesar's leadership has turned the Legion into one of the most feared factions in the wasteland, and his strict, militaristic approach has resulted in a society where only the strong survive and the weak are discarded. Fact 37. The Institute's technology is far beyond anything else in the wasteland, allowing them to create incredibly advanced robotics, weapons, and even entire synthetic humans. Their creations, such as the synths, are not only scientifically impressive, but also raise questions about what it means to be human. The Institute's ability to create lifelike beings who can think and feel is both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Their experiments have led to many synths becoming self-aware, complicating the moral landscape. As factions like the Railroad seek to protect these beings, the Institute views them as tools for their greater purpose, furthering the divide between the two factions. Fact 38. The Brotherhood of Steel's focus on preserving technology has made them one of the most powerful and influential factions in the wasteland. Over time, they have gained a reputation for being protectors of the weak, using their advanced weaponry and armor to defend settlements and enforce their ideals. However, their belief in the superiority of their technology and their refusal to share it with others has caused tension with many factions. While they claim to act in the best interest of humanity, their insistence on keeping power to themselves often leads to isolation and conflict with those who seek a more egalitarian future. Fact 39. The Enclave's vision for the future is one of total control, where they aim to eliminate all who they deem unworthy of living in the new world they plan to create. Their vision of a purified world is rooted in their belief that only those with pure pre-war bloodlines should survive. This belief drives them to take extreme measures, including the use of highly advanced technology to enforce their will. The Enclave's authoritarian approach and their willingness to use weapons of mass destruction to achieve their goals make them one of the most dangerous factions in the Fallout universe. Fact 40. The Minutemen are a faction dedicated to providing protection and assistance to the Wasteland's settlers. Unlike the NCR or the Brotherhood of Steel, the Minutemen focus on defending individual communities rather than seeking to expand their territory. Their motto, "The Commonwealth will be free," reflects their commitment to ensuring the safety and freedom of the people they protect. While the Minutemen do not have the same military might as the Brotherhood or the NCR, Their focus on helping those in need makes them a beacon of hope for those who find themselves in peril in the lawless wasteland. Fact 41. The Brotherhood of Steel, though often seen as protectors of humanity, are not without their flaws. One of their greatest internal struggles is their strict adherence to their code, which often prevents them from interacting with the outside world in meaningful ways. They are also obsessed with preserving technology to the point of withholding it from those they deem unworthy. This elitist view creates conflict with other factions, such as the NCR, who believe that the knowledge should be shared for the good of all. Despite these tensions, the Brotherhood continues to grow in power, using their advanced technology to maintain control and influence. Fact 42. The Enclave's vision for the wasteland is one of purification, where only those with pure pre-war bloodlines can survive. Their belief in genetic superiority drives them to extreme measures, including mass extermination campaigns, to eliminate anyone who does not meet their standards. The Enclave's obsession with creating a perfect world is rooted in their elitist mindset, where they view themselves as the rightful heirs to the United States. Their technological advancements, while impressive, are often used in brutal ways, such as the use of the FEV virus to mutate humans into monstrous forms, furthering their belief in purification. Fact 43. Caesar's Legion is one of the most brutal factions in the wasteland, built on the ideals of ancient Rome. Under Caesar's leadership, the Legion has grown into a powerful and feared military force, with a strict code of conduct centered around survival of the fittest. Slavery, conquest, and domination are the cornerstones of their society, and they view any form of weakness as unacceptable. Despite their violent methods, Caesar believes his legion will bring order to the wasteland, albeit through fear and control. His ambition to conquer the entire wasteland has put him in direct conflict with factions like the NCR and the Brotherhood of Steel. Fact 44. The Institute's role in the wasteland is one of mystery and intrigue. Their technological advancements, particularly in the field of robotics, have made them one of the most influential factions in the Fallout universe. The creation of synths, artificial beings who resemble humans in every way, has raised questions about the ethics of their actions. While the Institute claims that their work will lead to the betterment of humanity, many in the wasteland view them with suspicion, especially after the discovery of their experiments on the synths. The Railroad, a group dedicated to freeing these creations, stands in direct opposition to the Institute's methods. Fact 45. The Minutemen are often seen as a beacon of hope in the wasteland. Their mission is simple: protect the settlers of the Commonwealth and ensure their safety in a world filled with danger. Unlike many other factions that focus on power or conquest, the Minutemen are dedicated to helping those in need, no matter their race or background. Their commitment to democracy and freedom makes them a symbol of the possibility for a better future. The Minutemen's greatest strength lies in their ability to rally communities together, forming a united front against the dangers of the wasteland. Fact 46. The Railroad's primary mission is to liberate the synths created by the Institute. They believe that synths are sentient beings with their own rights and deserve to live freely in the wasteland, just like any other person. The Railroad operates in secret, using their network of safe houses and underground tunnels to transport synths to safety. Their work is dangerous, as the Institute considers the synths their property and actively hunts down anyone who aids them. Despite the danger, the railroad remains committed to their cause, believing that the liberation of the synths is a fundamental moral issue that must be addressed. Fact 47. The Great Khans, a nomadic raider tribe, are one of the more tragic factions in the Fallout universe. Originally formed from the remnants of various tribes, the Khans have a rich cultural history, but their descent into violence and drug addiction has clouded their legacy. Once fierce warriors, the Great Khans are now known for their brutality and use of chems, which have slowly destroyed their once proud society. Despite their criminal reputation, there are those among the Khans who seek redemption and a return to their original ways, but the shadow of their past continues to haunt them. Fact 48. The Vault Tech Corporation, responsible for the creation of the vaults, played a far darker role in the Great War than many people realize. While most vaults were designed to protect people from the fallout of nuclear war, many were also used for horrific social experiments. Vault Tech's experiments varied widely, with some vaults being used to test the effects of extreme isolation, while others subjected their inhabitants to cruel psychological manipulation. These experiments left lasting scars on the survivors and contributed to the fracturing of society in the post apocalyptic world. Fact 49. The Children of Adam, though a relatively small faction in the Fallout universe, play a significant role in the lore. Their belief that radiation is a divine force has made them one of the most unique and enigmatic groups in the wasteland. The Children of Adam worship radiation as a source of life, viewing the Great War as a necessary event for the world's rebirth. Their devotion to the atom often leads them to seek out the most irradiated areas where they believe the true power of the atom is present. Despite their peaceful nature, their fanaticism often puts them at odds with other factions who view radiation as a curse rather than a blessing. Fact 50. The Brotherhood of Steel's role in the wasteland has evolved over time, but their primary mission remains the same: to protect and preserve technology. However, their view of technology has shifted. While they once sought to share their knowledge with the world, the Brotherhood has become increasingly insular, hoarding their advanced technology and refusing to share it with others. This has caused friction with factions like the NCR, who believe that technology should be used to benefit everyone. The Brotherhood's refusal to cooperate with others has made them both an ally and an adversary, depending on the situation. Fact 51. The Brotherhood of Steel's role in the wasteland has always been complex. They began as protectors of humanity, collecting pre-war technology for the greater good. Over time, however, their obsession with the preservation and control of technology has led them to become a more secretive and isolationist faction. They are often seen as protectors of the weak, but their refusal to share their knowledge and resources with others has created tension with factions like the NCR. Despite this, the Brotherhood remains a powerful force in the wasteland, and their advanced technology continues to give them an edge in many conflicts. Fact 52. The Institute's creation of the synths has raised a number of ethical concerns. Many people in the wasteland view the synths as nothing more than machines, while others believe they are sentient beings deserving of freedom and rights. The Institute, however, views the synths as tools to further their goals of scientific progress. This moral divide has led to significant conflict with groups like the Railroad, who seek to free the synths and grant them autonomy. The struggle between the Institute and the Railroad represents a deeper philosophical conflict about what it means to be human and whether artificial life should be treated as equal to organic life. Fact 53. The Great Khan's reputation as ruthless raiders is well earned, but their origins tell a different story. The Khans were originally a proud group of nomadic warriors who lived off the land, but their descent into drug addiction and violence has tarnished their legacy. The Khans were once known for their respect for family and clan, but the widespread use of chems has led to internal strife and the destruction of many of their traditional values. Despite their troubled history, some Khans continue to strive for redemption and attempt to rebuild their once proud society, though their past continues to haunt them. Fact 54. The Minutemen's mission is rooted in the ideals of democracy, freedom, and mutual cooperation. Unlike many other factions, the Minutemen do not seek to expand their power or control over the wasteland. Instead, they focus on protecting settlements and ensuring that communities are safe from raiders, mutants, and other dangers. The Minutemen's commitment to helping others is admirable, but their lack of centralized leadership has sometimes led to internal divisions and challenges in coordinating their efforts. Still, their dedication to preserving the freedom of the wasteland's settlers makes them a force for good in a world often defined by violence and oppression. Fact 55. The Enclave's desire to restore the United States to its pre-war glory is rooted in a deeply flawed ideology. They believe that the Great War was a necessary event to purify humanity and that only those with pure bloodlines are worthy of survival. The Enclave's obsession with genetic purity has led them to engage in horrific practices, such as the use of the FEV virus to mutate humans into monstrous forms. Their belief in the superiority of the pre-war government and their willingness to use extreme measures to achieve their goals has made them one of the most dangerous factions in the wasteland. Fact 56. The Institute's technological advancements have allowed them to create incredible machines and robots, but their most significant creation is the synths. These artificial beings are designed to look and act like humans, and they have raised questions about the nature of consciousness and sentience. Some synths have even gained their own sense of identity and self-awareness, which has caused significant moral dilemmas. While the Institute sees the synths as nothing more than tools, the Railroad believes they are living beings deserving of freedom. This conflict between the Institute and the Railroad is at the heart of a larger debate about the ethical use of technology in the wasteland. Fact 57. Caesar's Legion is one of the most brutal factions in the wasteland, built on the ideals of ancient Rome. Under Caesar's leadership, the Legion has grown into a militaristic force that conquers and enslaves other tribes and factions. Their philosophy is based on the belief that only the strong deserve to survive, and their society is founded on slavery, violence, and domination. Caesar's Legion is often seen as a force of tyranny and oppression, and their brutal methods have made them enemies of many factions, including the NCR, who see them as a threat to the future of the wasteland. Fact 58. The children of Adam's belief in the divine power of radiation sets them apart from other factions in the Fallout universe. While most groups view radiation as a curse or a dangerous force, the children see it as a source of life and power. They worship radiation as a divine force capable of transforming the world and bringing about a new era of peace and enlightenment. This radical belief leads them to seek out areas with high radiation levels where they believe the true power of the atom can be found. While their faith is peaceful, it often puts them at odds with other factions who see radiation as a deadly threat. Fact 59: the Brotherhood of Steel's obsession with technology has led them to take an isolationist stance in the wasteland. While they initially sought to protect humanity by preserving knowledge and technology, their desire to control this power has caused them to distance themselves from the outside world. The Brotherhood's refusal to share their advanced technology with others has led to tensions with factions like the NCR, who believe that technology should be used for the benefit of all. Despite these tensions, the Brotherhood remains a powerful and influential faction, and their advanced technology continues to give them an edge in the wasteland's many conflicts. Fact 60: the Enclave's technological superiority is one of their most dangerous attributes. They possess advanced weaponry, robots, and other forms of technology that are far more advanced than anything found in the wasteland. This technological advantage gives them the power to enforce their will on others, but it also makes them a target for those who seek to bring down their oppressive regime. Though Enclave's belief in their own superiority and their willingness to use extreme measures to achieve their goals has made them one of the most feared and hated factions in the Fallout universe, and they remain a constant threat to the wasteland's fragile peace. Fact 61: the Brotherhood of Steel's leadership is built upon a strong hierarchical structure which has allowed the faction to maintain order and discipline. The Elder, who is at the top of the Brotherhood's leadership, is responsible for making critical decisions regarding the faction's actions. Below the Elder are paladins, knights, and scribes, each with distinct roles, ranging from combat to research and technological preservation. This rigid structure is one of the reasons why the Brotherhood is so effective in battle. However, it can also cause internal struggles, as different factions within the Brotherhood often disagree on how to use the technology they have hoarded. Fact 62: the Institute's advanced technology and artificial intelligence give them an incredible edge over other factions in the wasteland. One of their most impressive creations is the Coursers, highly skilled agents designed to track down and eliminate any synths that stray from the Institute's control. These deadly agents are equipped with powerful weapons and advanced stealth technology, making them nearly impossible to evade. The Institute's reliance on these agents highlights their fear of losing control over their creations. The Courser's role in maintaining the Institute's power structure is vital, but it also makes them a symbol of the Institute's dark side. Fact 63: the Railroad's main goal is the liberation of synths, seeing them as sentient beings with rights and emotions. Unlike the Institute, which views synths as tools, the Railroad believes these creations deserve freedom, just like any human. To accomplish this, the Railroad operates in secrecy, moving synths through hidden pathways and safe houses, always evading the Institute's relentless pursuit. Their commitment to the cause has earned them both respect and enemies. While their methods are dangerous and clandestine, they are driven by a strong moral belief that freedom and autonomy should be granted to all, regardless of their origins. Fact 64: The NCR's influence in the wasteland is undeniably vast. Originally formed as a democratic government aimed at restoring the old world's laws and order, the NCR has since expanded its reach into many territories. However, their quest for expansion has come with complications, including a massive bureaucracy that struggles to maintain control over distant settlements. While they have been able to restore law and order in many parts of the wasteland, their presence is often resented by smaller, independent groups who view the NCR as an imperialistic force. The NCR is constantly balancing its ideals of democracy with the harsh realities of a fractured, chaotic world. Fact 65. Caesar's legion is not just a military force, but a highly organized authoritarian society. Under Caesar's rule, the legion is built upon a rigid caste system where slaves, soldiers, and leaders each have their designated roles. This hierarchy is maintained through strict control, violence, and indoctrination. Caesar's legion thrives on fear, and its members are trained to view themselves as superior to all others, believing that the wasteland is their rightful domain. Their conquest of other factions, cities, and tribes is justified by Caesar's belief that his rule will bring order to the chaotic wasteland, albeit through brutal means. Fact 66. The children of Adam's fervent devotion to radiation as a divine force shapes much of their actions in the wasteland. To them, radiation is not just a product of the Great War, but a sacred power that will eventually lead to the rebirth of humanity. They see the destruction caused by nuclear weapons as part of a greater divine plan. The children of Adam have a strong presence in irradiated areas where they build shrines and perform rituals to honor the atom. While their faith gives them a sense of purpose, it also makes them targets for factions that view radiation as a dangerous force. Fact 67. The Minutemen's ultimate goal is to ensure that every settlement in the wasteland is protected from the dangers that lurk around every corner. Unlike other factions, the Minutemen do not seek to expand their power or control over the wasteland. Instead, they focus on fostering cooperation and mutual support. They are a group of volunteers, united by a shared belief in the values of democracy, freedom, and equality. While they may not have the military might of the Brotherhood or the NCR, their ability to rally communities together and inspire hope makes them one of the more positive forces in the wasteland. Fact 68. The Enclave's technologically advanced arsenal gives them the ability to reshape the wasteland according to their vision of a perfect world. Their high-tech weaponry, robots, and aircraft allow them to impose their will with unmatched efficiency, making them a formidable enemy to anyone who opposes them. The Enclave's sense of superiority and their belief in genetic purity drives them to use these advanced tools to purify the wasteland of all who do not meet their standards. Their presence in the wasteland is a constant reminder of the dark power of unchecked technology and the dangers of a faction willing to use it for totalitarian control. Fact 69. The Great Khan's origins as a group of nomadic survivors are often overshadowed by their current reputation as ruthless raiders. Once a proud people, the Khan's fall from grace is tied to their descent into chem addiction and violent behavior. Despite this, the Khans have maintained a strong sense of loyalty to one another, and their clan-based society is still alive, albeit in a fractured form. The cons are constantly at odds with factions like the NCR, who seek to control them, and the Minutemen, who wish to bring peace to the wasteland. But beneath their violent exterior, many cons still long for a return to their honorable past. Fact 70. Vault Tech Corporation's role in the creation of the vaults is far more sinister than most people realize. While the vaults were intended to be safe havens for humanity in the event of a nuclear war, many were actually designed as social experiments. Vault Tech's goal was to test how different groups of people would react to extreme conditions, isolation, and artificial environments. These experiments were often cruel and unethical, subjecting the inhabitants of the vaults to hardships and psychological stress. Some vaults even had bizarre experiments, like manipulating the genetic makeup of their inhabitants or having a single gender populate the vault, creating situations that were both unethical and dangerous. Fact 71. The Brotherhood of Steel's strict adherence to their code has made them one of the most disciplined factions in the wasteland. This military structure is essential to their survival, as it allows them to function as a highly organized and efficient group, focused on their mission to preserve technology. However, this rigid structure also causes them to struggle with flexibility. The Brotherhood's reluctance to change or adapt has led to significant conflicts with other factions, especially those like the NCR, who prioritize cooperation and diplomacy. Despite this, the Brotherhood's advanced technology and firepower continue to make them a powerful force in the wasteland. Fact 72. The Enclave's relentless pursuit of a purified world is built upon the belief that the remnants of humanity are tainted by the Great War. Their solution is to cleanse the wasteland of those they deem unworthy, whether through the use of advanced weapons or genetically engineered viruses. The Enclave sees itself as the last hope for the future, convinced that they alone have the knowledge and technology to restore the world to its former glory. This belief in their own superiority drives them to commit horrific acts, including genocide, in the name of purification. Their power and technology make them a constant threat to the wasteland's fragile peace. Fact 73. The Institute's creation of synths is perhaps the most controversial aspect of their existence. These artificial beings are created to look and act like humans, but they are entirely under the Institute's control. Synths are often used as tools to further the Institute's goals, whether in espionage, experimentation, or covert operations. However, as some synths gain self-awareness and begin to question their purpose, they become a symbol of the moral dilemmas that the Institute faces. The Railroad, a faction dedicated to freeing the synths, believes that these creations deserve the same rights as humans, leading to a fierce conflict between the two factions. Fact 74. The Great Khans are known for their brutal methods and reliance on chems, but their origins tell a different story. Once a proud, nomadic tribe, the Khans were skilled warriors who fought to protect their people and maintain their way of life. However, the widespread use of chems, particularly psycho and jet, has led to their downfall. The addiction to these substances has caused internal strife and weakened the Khans' once strong sense of unity. Despite this, there are still members of the Khans who wish to reclaim their former glory and rebuild their society, though the damage caused by their past actions continues to haunt them. Fact 75. The Minutemen's focus on protecting the people of the wasteland makes them one of the more noble factions in Fallout. They believe in the power of community and cooperation, offering assistance to those in need without asking for anything in return. The Minutemen operate without a central government or leader, instead relying on the collective will of their members. While this decentralized structure allows them to remain flexible and responsive to the needs of the people, it also makes it difficult for the Minutemen to achieve long term stability. Nonetheless, their commitment to protecting settlements and ensuring the safety of the common folk makes them a beacon of hope in the wasteland. Fact 76. The children of Adam's belief that radiation is a divine force sets them apart from all other factions. Unlike most groups who see radiation as a destructive and dangerous element, the children view it as a source of power and renewal. They believe that the destruction caused by the Great War was not a tragedy, but rather a necessary step in the world's rebirth. The children of Adam worship radiation, building shrines and performing rituals to honor the atom. They seek to spread their message and convert others to their faith, believing that only through radiation can the wasteland be purified and reborn. Fact 77. Caesar's Legion is one of the most brutal factions in the Fallout universe, known for their militaristic society and strict social hierarchy. Under Caesar's leadership, the Legion has conquered numerous tribes and settlements, forcing them to submit to his rule. The Legion's philosophy is based on the idea that strength and survival are the only values that matter in the wasteland. Those who are weak are either enslaved or killed, while the strong rise to the top. Caesar's Legion is a society built on fear, oppression, and violence, with slavery being one of its central institutions. Their ruthless tactics have made them a constant threat to the wasteland's other factions. Fact 78. The Institute's technological advancements give them a significant edge over other factions in the wasteland. Their ability to create synths, robots, and advanced weaponry has made them one of the most powerful groups in the Fallout universe. However, their reliance on these creations has led to ethical dilemmas, particularly in their treatment of the synths, who are often seen as nothing more than tools. Some synths, however, gain self-awareness and begin to question their existence, leading to the Institute's growing problem of controlling its creations. The Railroad's attempts to free the synths from the Institute's control only escalate the conflict between the two factions. Fact 79. The Vault Tech Corporation's role in the Great War is one of the most disturbing aspects of the Fallout universe. While Vault Tech was originally created to protect people from the nuclear fallout, the company had a much darker agenda. Many of the vaults were designed as social experiments, with Vault Tech deliberately selecting individuals for each vault and subjecting them to cruel and unethical conditions. Some vaults were isolated for years, while others were forced to live under bizarre social conditions, such as having only one gender or subjecting the inhabitants to extreme psychological stress. These experiments often led to the collapse of the vaults, and the people inside were left scarred by the experiences. Fact 80. The NCR's commitment to law and order is admirable, but it is also what causes many of their problems. As the NCR expands, it becomes increasingly difficult for them to maintain control over their vast territories. The NCR's bureaucratic system is often bogged down by red tape, making it difficult to respond quickly to crises. While the NCR strives to bring peace to the wasteland, Their expansionist efforts have led to conflicts with other factions, such as the Brotherhood of Steel and the Great Khans. The NCR's efforts to restore the pre war world are often hindered by the realities of the post apocalyptic wasteland. Fact 81. The Brotherhood of Steel is not just a military force, but also a group deeply committed to preserving knowledge. As a result, their scribes work tirelessly to recover and study old world technology, from weapons to books. These scribes are often looked down upon by other members of the Brotherhood, as they are not warriors, but their role is crucial to the faction's mission. Without the work of the scribes, the Brotherhood would not have access to the advanced technology that keeps them at the top of the wasteland's power structure. Their knowledge is the key to their continued survival and influence. Fact 82. The Enclave's obsession with genetic purity stems from their belief that only those with pure bloodlines should survive in the post apocalyptic world. This belief has led them to engage in heinous acts, including the creation of the FEV virus to mutate humans into monstrous forms. The Enclave believes that by eradicating mutants and other inferior survivors, they can create a new world where only the pure survive. Their technology allows them to carry out these twisted experiments, but their inability to connect with the wasteland's diverse populations has made them one of the most despised factions. Fact 83. The Institute's creation of synths has sparked one of the most profound debates in the Fallout universe. While the Institute views synths as an extension of their technological prowess, others see them as sentient beings deserving of freedom. The Railroad, a faction dedicated to freeing synths, believes that the creations of the Institute have the right to choose their own fate. This conflict between the Institute's view of synths as tools and the Railroad's view of them as individuals highlights the larger moral dilemmas in the wasteland. It asks the question, what makes someone human? Is it biological, or is it something deeper? Fact 84. The Great Khans have a rich and complex history in the wasteland. Originally a proud and powerful tribe, the Khans were known for their resilience and strong sense of family. However, their descent into chem addiction and violence has tarnished their reputation. Despite their criminal ways, the Khans still hold onto some of their traditional values, such as loyalty to one another and a respect for strength. Their history reflects the challenges of surviving in the harsh wasteland, where even the most noble of tribes can fall victim to the temptations of chems and the brutality of the world around them. Fact 85. The Minutemen's purpose is one of protection and service. Unlike other factions that seek to dominate or control, the Minutemen exist to defend the people of the Commonwealth from the dangers that threaten them. Their mission is rooted in a belief in freedom, equality, and cooperation. They seek to help settlements rebuild and offer protection from raiders, mutants, and other threats. However, the Minutemen are often hindered by their lack of centralized leadership. The faction relies on volunteers, which means they often struggle to coordinate their efforts and maintain their presence in all parts of the wasteland. Fact 86. Caesar's Legion is a brutal and totalitarian faction built on the principles of the ancient Roman Empire. Under Caesar's rule, the Legion has become a highly disciplined military force with strict codes of conduct and a hierarchical structure. The Legion's focus is on conquest, and they believe that the wasteland can only be controlled through strength and fear. Unlike other factions, the Legion does not seek to rebuild civilization in a democratic or egalitarian sense. Instead, they impose their will on the wasteland, conquering other factions and tribes and forcing them to submit to their rule. Fact 87. The children of Adam's belief in the divine nature of radiation has shaped their entire existence. They view radiation as a sacred force capable of bringing about the rebirth of the world. The children believe that the Great War, though devastating, was a necessary step in the creation of a new world. They see themselves as the chosen ones, destined to lead humanity into this new era. Their faith in the atom leads them to seek out highly irradiated areas, believing that these places hold the key to their salvation. While their faith is peaceful, it has often put them in conflict with other factions. Fact 88. The Brotherhood of Steel's military might is matched only by their desire to preserve technology for their own use. Their obsession with ancient weapons and systems, particularly pre-war technology, has led to their growing influence in the wasteland. While they claim to protect humanity, their refusal to share technology with other factions has created significant tension with groups like the NCR. The Brotherhood's strict code of conduct and emphasis on military discipline also make them inflexible in their approach to the wasteland's problems. While their technological superiority gives them power, it also isolates them from the communities they seek to protect. Fact 89. The Institute's role in the wasteland is one of quiet but undeniable influence. While they remain hidden from the eyes of most, their presence is felt through their creations, the synths. These artificial humans have caused a moral uproar, with factions like the Railroad pushing for their freedom, while the Institute views them as nothing more than tools for their own advancement. The Institute's pursuit of technological progress and their lack of empathy for the synths has made them one of the most controversial factions in the wasteland. They view themselves as the only faction capable of creating a better world, though their methods are often questioned. Fact 90. The Enclave's technological superiority has allowed them to establish themselves as one of the most powerful factions in the wasteland. Their use of advanced technology, including robots, aircraft, and weapons of mass destruction, gives them the ability to control and manipulate the environment around them. The Enclave's focus on genetic purity and their belief in the superiority of pre-war bloodlines has led them to pursue a twisted vision of humanity's future. Their use of the FEV virus and other biological weapons is a testament to their willingness to sacrifice anyone in their pursuit of a perfect world, regardless of the cost. Fact 91. The Brotherhood of Steel's philosophy on technology is driven by both a desire for preservation and control. They believe that technology is too dangerous for the average person to handle, especially in a world ravaged by nuclear war. While their intention to protect humanity from the misuse of advanced technology is understandable, it also makes them unwilling to share their knowledge with other factions. This results in a kind of elitism, where the Brotherhood sees themselves as the only group capable of wielding such power responsibly. This mindset creates conflict with factions like the NCR, who seek to use technology for the greater good. Fact 92. The Enclave's headquarters, often located in isolated and well-protected areas, serves as the heart of their operations. Their most well known headquarters, the Poseidon Oil Rig, houses some of the most advanced technology ever created in the Fallout universe. The Enclave uses this technology to control the wasteland, employing robots, advanced military units, and other high tech resources to impose their vision of a purified world. Despite the Enclave's technological superiority, their isolationist nature means that they rarely interact with other factions unless it is to assert dominance or maintain their control. This makes them a distant but ever present threat. Fact 93. The Institute's creation of the synths has made them a controversial faction in the Fallout universe. While the Institute views synths as a necessary advancement in artificial intelligence, their treatment of these beings raises significant moral concerns. Many synths have developed sentience, leading some factions, such as the Railroad, to fight for their freedom. The Railroad views the Institute's control over the synths as a form of enslavement, and their efforts to liberate these beings create a rift between them and the Institute. This struggle between the Institute and the Railroad reflects larger debates on the ethics of artificial life and freedom. Fact 94. The Great Khans, despite their reputation as vicious raiders and drug users, are a faction that has endured through adversity. Originally a proud and nomadic tribe, the Khans fell into violence and addiction as the wasteland became more dangerous. Their history is marked by hardship as they struggle to balance their warrior culture with the destructive forces of addiction. While many Khans remain brutal and unrepentant, others long for a return to their noble past. Their journey reflects the broader struggle for identity and redemption in the post apocalyptic world as they try to reclaim their place in the wasteland. Fact 95. The Minutemen's strength lies in their commitment to protecting the innocent, even at great personal cost. Unlike other factions, the Minutemen do not seek to impose their will on the wasteland. Instead, they focus on defending settlements and ensuring that everyone, regardless of their background, has a chance to live peacefully. The Minutemen are a volunteer group, and each member is expected to act in the best interest of the people they protect. Their lack of centralized leadership means that they can be slow to act in some situations, but their dedication to helping others makes them one of the most benevolent factions in the wasteland. Fact 96. Caesar's Legion is a ruthless faction driven by a strict belief in the survival of the fittest. The Legion is built on the ideals of the ancient Roman Empire, with Caesar as the self-proclaimed ruler and successor of Julius Caesar. His empire is founded on conquest, slavery, and violence. Unlike the NCR, which believes in democracy and law, Caesar's Legion operates through fear and control. The Legion's brutal tactics are intended to break their enemies, and their policy of enslaving conquered peoples ensures that no one can escape their dominance. This philosophy of strength through subjugation has earned the Legion both fear and hatred from other factions. Fact 97. The Children of Atom's reverence for radiation as a divine force is one of the most unique and complex aspects of their belief system. They view radiation not as a curse, but as a transformative power that can lead to a new world. The children believe that the Great War, though devastating, was a necessary event to cleanse the earth and pave the way for a more enlightened future. Their faith leads them to seek out the most irradiated areas in the wasteland, where they perform rituals and construct shrines dedicated to the atom, believing that these sites are sacred and will guide them to enlightenment. Fact 98. The Brotherhood of Steel's interactions with other factions are often complicated by their isolationist tendencies. While they may be seen as protectors by some, their reluctance to share their technology and knowledge with others has caused friction with groups like the NCR. This behavior stems from their belief that humanity is not ready to wield the advanced technology they have preserved. The Brotherhood's refusal to trust outsiders with their power has created an air of distrust, with some factions viewing them as hoarders and even potential threats to the balance of power in the wasteland. Fact 99. The Institute's use of synths to infiltrate the wasteland and their own organization has proven to be an effective strategy for maintaining control. The synths are used to gather information, perform covert operations, and even replace high ranking members of society. While some synths are created to serve the Institute's goals, others become self aware and rebel against their creators. This poses a significant ethical dilemma for the Institute, as it raises questions about the nature of freedom and sentience. The Institute's methods have made them a target for factions like the Railroad, who fight to give synths the freedom they deserve. Fact 100. The Enclave's obsession with restoring the United States to its pre-war glory is rooted in a belief that the world must be purified in order to be reborn. Their methods of achieving this involve the use of advanced technology and weapons, including the FEV virus, which they use to eradicate those they deem unworthy of survival. The Enclave's isolationist nature and their belief in genetic purity have made them a dangerous faction, willing to do whatever it takes to reshape the wasteland according to their ideals. Their view of the world as a place to be purified through destruction makes them a constant threat to the wasteland's fragile peace. Fact 101. The Brotherhood of Steel's isolationist stance has often put them at odds with factions like the New California Republic, NCR, and the Minutemen, who believe in the sharing of resources and knowledge. The Brotherhood's reluctance to cooperate with these factions stems from their deep-seated belief that humanity cannot be trusted with advanced technology. This belief in the superiority of their own ideals has created an atmosphere of distrust and tension, with the Brotherhood often acting in opposition to the more democratic or egalitarian factions in the wasteland. Despite this, their technological superiority ensures they remain a powerful force in the wasteland. Fact 102. Caesar's Legion is an empire founded on brutal ideals, rooted in the practices of the ancient Romans. Under Caesar's rule, the Legion thrives on strength, conquest, and subjugation. Their soldiers are trained to be ruthless, and their society is built upon a strict caste system, with slaves, soldiers, and leaders all playing specific roles. The Legion's territorial expansion has led to many bloody battles with other factions, and their cruelty has earned them the ire of the wasteland's inhabitants. Despite their militaristic focus, the Legion's belief in the survival of the fittest drives their conquest, making them a constant threat to the region. Fact 103. The Children of Adam's faith is one of the most unique and enigmatic in the wasteland. They view radiation as a divine force, capable of transforming the world and bringing about a new era of rebirth. Their belief is rooted in the idea that the Great War, though devastating, was necessary for the world's salvation. The children worship radiation, building shrines and performing rituals in areas of high radiation, where they believe that Adam's power is most concentrated. While their faith brings them peace and purpose, it also makes them a target for other factions who view radiation as a deadly force rather than a sacred one. Fact 104: the Institute's primary goal is to push the boundaries of science and technology. They see themselves as the rightful inheritors of the pre war world's knowledge and believe they have a duty to rebuild humanity, albeit on their own terms. Their creation of the synths, artificial beings designed to mimic human life, is a cornerstone of their work. These synths are used to carry out various missions, from covert operations to outright infiltration. However, as some synths develop self awareness, the Institute faces moral questions about their creation's rights and autonomy, leading to internal and external conflict, especially with groups like the Railroad. Fact 105: the NCR, despite its best intentions, often struggles with corruption and inefficiency within its ranks. While the NCR strives to restore law and order to the wasteland, its bureaucratic nature has created a system that is slow to react to the rapidly changing conditions of the post apocalyptic world. The NCR's desire to expand its territory and influence has led them into conflict with smaller factions, such as the Great Khans, who see the NCR's presence as an overreach of power. Despite these challenges, the NCR's democratic ideals and efforts to rebuild the old world have made them a beacon of hope for many in the wasteland. Fact 106: the Brotherhood of Steel's commitment to preserving technology is driven by both a desire to protect and a fear of the chaos that could ensue if such technology falls into the wrong hands. Their obsession with technology, however, leads them to act in ways that are often viewed as extreme or authoritarian. The Brotherhood is willing to use force to protect their technology, and their unwillingness to share it with other factions has caused many in the wasteland to view them as hoarders. Their rigid structure and focus on military might make them both an ally and an adversary, depending on the situation. Fact 107: Caesar's Legion is not just a group of conquerors, it is a totalitarian regime that enforces strict obedience to Caesar's rule. Under Caesar's leadership, the Legion has built a society based on slavery, violence, and fear. Their militaristic focus has made them one of the most efficient and brutal factions in the wasteland. While their tactics are effective in combat, they have earned the disdain of other factions, such as the NCR, who view Caesar's Legion as a threat to the peace and stability they are trying to rebuild. The Legion's expansionism and brutality make them a dangerous force in the wasteland. Fact 108: the Institute's creation of the synths has been both a technological marvel and a source of deep moral conflict. While the Institute sees their creations as tools to improve society, the synths themselves are often treated as little more than machines. However, some synths develop self awareness and begin to question their existence, leading to a philosophical and ethical debate about the nature of artificial life. The Railroad's efforts to free the synths from the Institute's control are based on the belief that these beings deserve the same rights and freedoms as humans, creating a growing divide between the two factions. Fact 109: the Minutemen, unlike many other factions in the wasteland, focus on helping those in need rather than seeking power or control. Their mission is to provide protection and aid to the settlers of the Commonwealth, ensuring their safety from raiders, mutants, and other threats. The Minutemen operate without a central leader, relying instead on volunteers who work together to help those in need. This decentralized structure allows them to remain flexible and responsive to the needs of the people they protect, but it also makes it difficult to maintain consistency and stability across the vast territories they cover. Fact 110: the Great Khan's history is a reflection of the broader struggles faced by many factions in the wasteland. Once a proud and noble tribe, the Khans fell victim to the temptations of chems and violence, leading to their current status as ruthless raiders and mercenaries. Despite their reputation, the Khans still retain some of their former values, including loyalty to family and strength. Their addiction to chems has torn their society apart, but there are those within the Khans who still strive for redemption and seek to reclaim their lost honor. Their story is one of survival, corruption, and the potential for change. Fact 111: the Brotherhood of Steel's expansion into the wasteland has been marked by both cooperation and conflict. Initially formed as a group of soldiers seeking to preserve knowledge and technology, the Brotherhood has become increasingly insular and focused on protecting its own interests. Their refusal to share their advanced technology with other factions has led to tension, particularly with the NCR, which believes that technology should be shared for the benefit of all. While the Brotherhood is a powerful force in the wasteland, their isolationist tendencies make them a difficult ally, and they often clash with other factions over their refusal to collaborate. Fact 112: Caesar's Legion is a faction rooted in the principles of ancient Roman conquest, but their brutal methods set them apart from their inspirations. Under Caesar's leadership, the Legion has built a militaristic society based on dominance, with slaves and soldiers all playing designated roles. Their expansionist agenda has made them a constant threat to other factions, including the NCR, which sees Caesar's vision of the wasteland as a dangerous and regressive one. The Legion's reliance on fear, violence, and slavery to maintain order has earned them widespread hatred, but their strict discipline and military efficiency make them a formidable opponent. Fact 113: the Institute's secretive nature and their technological prowess make them one of the most mysterious factions in the wasteland. Their creation of synths, artificial beings that are nearly indistinguishable from humans, has sparked a moral and philosophical debate that divides the wasteland. While the Institute views synths as a necessary step in humanity's evolution, the Railroad sees them as sentient beings deserving of freedom. The Institute's desire to push the boundaries of science and create a perfect society has led them to operate in secrecy, with many factions questioning the morality of their experiments and their ultimate goals. Fact 114: the Minutemen are one of the most selfless factions in the wasteland, focused solely on helping others. Unlike many factions that seek to control or dominate, the Minutemen's mission is to protect and assist the people of the Commonwealth. They are a volunteer-based group that believes in the power of community and cooperation, and their lack of centralized leadership allows them to remain flexible and responsive to the needs of the people they serve. However, the lack of a strong, central authority has sometimes made it difficult for the Minutemen to maintain stability and achieve their goals, as their operations can be disjointed without a clear chain of command. Fact 115: the Great Khan's story is one of pride, downfall, and redemption. Once a proud and noble tribe, The Khans became known for their brutal raids and addiction to chems, which gradually destroyed their once thriving society. Their violent ways have earned them a reputation as ruthless criminals, but their origins are far more complex. The Khans were once skilled warriors who lived off the land, but the hardships of the wasteland pushed them to rely on chems to survive. Now, as they struggle to regain their honor and rebuild their society, the Khans are torn between their brutal past and the possibility of redemption. Fact 116: the Children of Adam are one of the most enigmatic factions in the Fallout universe. They view radiation as a divine force and believe that the Great War was a necessary event to cleanse the world and bring about a new era. The children worship radiation and believe that through exposure, they will be transformed into something greater. They seek out areas with high levels of radiation where they believe the true power of the atom lies. Their faith, though peaceful, often puts them at odds with other factions, particularly those who see radiation as a dangerous and destructive force. Fact 117: the Brotherhood of Steel's reliance on technology has been both their greatest strength and their greatest weakness. While their advanced weaponry, power armor, and technological knowledge give them a significant advantage in the wasteland, their strict adherence to preserving technology has led them to isolate themselves from other factions. They often hoard their resources, refusing to share their advanced technology, which has caused tension with groups like the NCR, who believe in using technology to benefit the greater good. This belief in technological superiority and the refusal to collaborate with others has made the Brotherhood a difficult ally and a formidable enemy. Fact 118: Caesar's legion's strict hierarchy and reliance on fear and discipline are what make them such a formidable force. Under Caesar's leadership, the Legion has become a highly organized and militaristic society that operates through sheer force and intimidation. The Legion's soldiers are trained to be ruthless, and their view of the wasteland as a place where only the strong survive has shaped their approach to governance. The Legion's expansionist agenda and their willingness to use extreme measures to achieve their goals have made them a constant threat to the stability of the wasteland, and they often clash with other factions over territory and ideology. Fact 119: the Institute's secrecy and technological advancements have made them a constant source of intrigue and fear. While they are often seen as a faction that can change the world for the better, their methods are controversial. The creation of synths, artificial beings that are nearly identical to humans, has led to widespread debates about the ethics of creating life. While the Institute views these creations as a necessary step in advancing humanity, many in the wasteland see them as nothing more than tools to be controlled. The conflict between the Institute's desire for progress and the Railroad's fight for freedom has created a deep divide in the wasteland. Fact 120: the Minutemen's commitment to protecting the people of the Commonwealth has made them one of the most respected factions in the wasteland. Unlike other factions, such as the NCR or the Brotherhood of Steel, the Minutemen do not seek to expand their power or control. Instead, they focus on ensuring the safety of settlements and offering protection from raiders, mutants, and other dangers. The Minutemen's volunteer-based structure allows them to remain flexible and adaptable, though it also makes it difficult to maintain consistency across the vast territories they cover. Despite their challenges, their dedication to helping others makes them a force for good in the wasteland. Fact 121. The Brotherhood of Steel's methods, while effective in battle, have earned them a reputation for being both authoritarian and isolated. They believe that humanity's reliance on advanced technology is the cause of its downfall, and that only they have the responsibility to preserve and control these technologies. This belief, however, isolates them from the rest of the wasteland. Their refusal to share technology with other factions, such as the NCR or the Minutemen, has led to conflicts with groups that aim to use technology for more cooperative purposes. Despite this, the Brotherhood's technological superiority keeps them a powerful force in the wasteland. Fact 122. Caesar's legions' strict societal structure and brutal discipline are at the heart of their military success. Each member of the legion, from the enslaved workers to the high ranking officers, plays a defined role within their rigid caste system. Caesar's idea of bringing order to the wasteland is rooted in the belief that strength is the only currency that matters. The legion's focus on conquest and domination, enforced through fear and violence, has made them a constant threat to neighboring factions. They believe that by subjugating others, they will eventually create a stable, if brutal, empire in the wasteland. Fact 123. The Institute, known for its secrecy and technological prowess, represents both the potential for progress and the dangers of unchecked scientific ambition. Their ability to create synths, artificial beings indistinguishable from humans, has revolutionized many aspects of society within the Institute, but it has also caused massive ethical concerns across the wasteland. The Railroad, a faction dedicated to freeing synths from the Institute's control, sees them as sentient beings deserving of rights, while the Institute views them as tools. The conflict between these two factions reflects a deeper struggle over the role of artificial life and freedom in the wasteland. Fact 124. The Minutemen, though often seen as a smaller faction compared to the Brotherhood of Steel or Caesar's Legion, have a profound impact on the Commonwealth. Their mission is simple but vital: to protect and assist the settlers of the wasteland. Unlike other factions that aim for territorial control or technological superiority, the Minutemen are dedicated to helping others rebuild and defend their communities. Their volunteer based structure is a strength and a weakness. While it allows for flexibility and responsiveness, it also makes it difficult for them to maintain order and leadership in a constantly changing and dangerous world. Fact 125. The Great Khan's history is one of survival, struggle, and internal conflict. Originally a powerful and proud tribe, the Khans fell victim to their reliance on chems, which led to their violent and unpredictable behavior. Their raider reputation is earned through their ruthless tactics, but beneath the violence lies a complicated culture rooted in loyalty, strength, and pride. The Khans struggle with addiction, and their internal division between those seeking redemption and those committed to their brutal ways makes them one of the more morally complex factions in the wasteland. Their future is uncertain as they grapple with their past and strive for survival. Fact 126. The children of Adam's faith in radiation as a divine force sets them apart from other factions in the wasteland. While most people view radiation as a dangerous and destructive element, the children of Adam see it as a source of rebirth and transformation. They believe that radiation is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced as part of a divine plan. This belief leads them to seek out areas with high levels of radiation where they construct shrines and perform rituals to honor the atom. Their faith in the atom often puts them in conflict with other factions that view radiation as a threat. Fact 127: Caesar's legion's military strategies are rooted in ancient Roman tactics, but their approach to warfare is far more brutal. The legion's soldiers are trained to be ruthless and efficient, using fear and intimidation to break their enemies. Their strict hierarchy ensures that each soldier knows their role and follows orders without question. The legion's reliance on slaves, who are used for labor and military support, creates a society built on subjugation. The legion's belief in the survival of the fittest means that only the strongest rise to the top, while the weak are discarded or enslaved. Fact 128: The Brotherhood of Steel's belief in the sanctity of technology has made them one of the most powerful factions in the wasteland. Their mission to preserve pre-war technology has led them to hoard valuable resources and to prioritize the protection of their own members. While the Brotherhood's goals are rooted in the belief that technology should be safeguarded to prevent another collapse, their refusal to share it with other factions has created tensions. The Brotherhood's isolationism and rigid adherence to their code of conduct make them difficult to work with, but their technological advancements ensure they remain a major power in the wasteland. Fact 129: The Institute's advanced technology and secretive nature have made them a mystery to the rest of the wasteland. Their focus on technological progress and the creation of synths has led to both admiration and fear. While the Institute views their work as necessary for humanity's survival, their lack of transparency and the unethical treatment of their creations have caused other factions to view them with suspicion. The Railroad, in particular, sees the Institute's actions as cruel and inhumane, and they work tirelessly to free the synths from their control. This conflict between the two factions represents a larger debate about the ethics of artificial life and freedom. Fact 130: The Minutemen's primary goal is to protect the settlements of the Commonwealth and provide aid to those in need. Unlike other factions, the Minutemen do not seek to control or expand their territory. Instead, they focus on helping others rebuild and defend their communities. Their volunteer-based structure allows them to remain flexible and responsive to the needs of the people they serve. However, the Minutemen's lack of centralized leadership has sometimes made it difficult for them to maintain order and achieve long-term goals. Despite this, their commitment to protecting others makes them one of the more benevolent factions in the wasteland. Fact 131: The Brotherhood of Steel's dominance in the wasteland is largely due to their control over advanced technology. They are one of the few factions with access to pre-war technology, which they believe can only be wielded responsibly by those who share their military discipline. While this has allowed them to maintain a stronghold in many parts of the wasteland, it has also led to their reputation as hoarders of knowledge. Their reluctance to share their technology with others, including factions like the NCR, has led to conflict and division, with some questioning whether they are helping or hindering the future of humanity. Fact 132: Caesar's legions focus on military expansion, and their belief in the absolute power of strength have made them a force to be reckoned with in the wasteland. Unlike other factions, Caesar's legion seeks to impose their version of order through fear and violence, believing that only the strong survive and that the weak must be subjugated or eliminated. Their brutal tactics, including slavery and torture, are meant to instill fear and create a society where power is the only currency that matters. While their methods are despised by many, their militaristic efficiency has allowed them to expand their territory, making them a significant threat to other factions. Fact 133. The Institute's technological innovations have shaped the course of the wasteland's future, but their secretive nature and questionable ethics have left them isolated from the broader society. Their most significant creation, the synths, has sparked an ongoing debate about the nature of life, freedom, and consciousness. The Institute views synths as mere tools to further their goals, while groups like the Railroad view them as sentient beings deserving of autonomy and rights. This philosophical divide has led to a conflict that remains one of the most profound in the wasteland, with the Institute's actions shaping the future of artificial life. Fact 134. The Minutemen's role in the Commonwealth is one of protection and aid. They are a faction dedicated to defending the settlers of the wasteland, offering assistance in rebuilding and ensuring that communities remain safe from raiders, mutants, and other threats. Unlike other factions that are driven by a desire for power or control, the Minutemen's mission is rooted in the belief that everyone deserves a chance at safety and freedom. Their volunteer-based structure allows them to remain flexible and responsive to the needs of the people they protect, but it also creates challenges in maintaining a consistent and effective force. Fact 135. The Great Khans are a faction that represents both the best and worst of the wasteland. Once a proud and noble tribe, the Khans fell into violence, addiction, and chaos due to their reliance on chems. Their story is one of internal struggle as they try to reconcile their past with the violent present they now face. Despite their reputation as raiders, the Khans are not without honor. Their internal divisions reflect the challenges many factions face in the wasteland, where survival often leads to moral compromises. The Khans' struggle for redemption and identity is a poignant reminder of the complexities of life in the post-apocalyptic world. Fact 136. The children of Adam's belief that radiation is a divine force has made them one of the most unique factions in the Fallout universe. They view the Great War not as a tragedy, but as a necessary step in the process of the world's rebirth. The children worship radiation and believe that it has the power to transform humanity into something greater. Their faith leads them to seek out the most irradiated areas in the wasteland, where they build shrines and perform rituals to honor the atom. While their faith brings them peace, it also isolates them from the rest of the wasteland. Fact 137. The Brotherhood of Steel's obsession with technology and its potential to shape the future has made them a central force in the wasteland. However, their refusal to share their knowledge with others has created significant tension with other factions, particularly the NCR, which believes that technology should be used for the greater good. The Brotherhood's strict code of conduct, which emphasizes military discipline and technological preservation, has led them to isolate themselves from the broader wasteland, making them both a powerful ally and a dangerous adversary. Their technology gives them an edge in many conflicts, but their inability to collaborate often leads to division. Fact 138. Caesar's legion's brutal and militaristic society is built on the belief that only the strong survive. This philosophy extends beyond their soldiers to the entire structure of their society, where power and strength are the only values that matter. The Legion's reliance on fear and violence ensures that only those who are able to dominate rise to the top, while the weak are enslaved or eliminated. Their expansionist ambitions have led them to conquer and subjugate other tribes, and their belief in the survival of the fittest makes them a constant threat to the peace and stability of the wasteland. Fact 139. The Institute's role in the wasteland has been marked by both awe and fear. Their technological advancements, particularly the creation of synths, have given them a significant edge over other factions. However, their secretive nature and lack of transparency have led many to view them with suspicion. The Institute sees itself as the rightful heir to the pre war world's knowledge, and its desire to push the boundaries of science has led them to create beings that challenge the very definition of life. The conflict between the Institute and the Railroad, which fights for the rights of synths, represents a larger philosophical struggle about freedom, autonomy, and the ethics of artificial life. Fact 140. The Minutemen, despite their humble origins, have become one of the most important factions in the Commonwealth. Their primary mission is simple: to protect the settlements and people of the wasteland. Unlike other factions that focus on power or territory, the Minutemen are dedicated to helping others rebuild and defend themselves from the dangers that lurk in the wasteland. They are a volunteer based organization, which gives them the flexibility to respond to the needs of the people they serve. However, this decentralized structure also makes it difficult for the Minutemen to maintain order and achieve long term goals, as their efforts can be scattered and inconsistent. Thank you for drifting with me through the world of Fallout factions tonight. May the stories of these powerful groups, their struggles, and their ideals stay softly with you as you let go of the day. May your dreams be peaceful and your heart find comfort in the quiet moments that follow. With each passing breath, feel yourself relax deeper, knowing that the wasteland's many stories have found their place in the warmth of your thoughts. Good night, dear friend. Rest easy, and may your dreams take you on journeys of peace and calm.